Hi, everyone. Welcome back. It's time for the Comics Talk here at Reverend Sully's. Thank you, your dojo, for tactical and practical spirituality. Welcome. We're going to review, I believe, 36 or 37 different funny books, that new ones that I read just this week. In addition, I have so many comics to bag, board, and box. So we're going to have a good old-fashioned boarding and boxing day while talking about new comics. And we're basically going to be bagging and boarding and boxing the new comics that I've bought over the past few months. They have just accumulated. They've ganging up on me. That's half of it, not even half of it. And we need to do something about this problem. Plus, the comics that we bought this week. What's in the bag? 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 Well, we got 4 floppies this week. Only 2 of them are new releases. The other 2 are facsimile editions. We'll get to that as well when we review the comics. And my goodness, did I get any boxes in the mail from you? I hope not. I don't know. Depends from whom. I've definitely got. And good to see you, Nuke. Comic Brown, fill the kill. Thank you. Was it that brown paper bag that was on fire that was on my porch? My downstairs neighbor didn't take too kindly of that because she didn't understand that there was poo-poo in the bag, and she got it all over her shoe, and it was on fire as well. And I think she's like, not this week. Nothing new this week. Oh, I didn't order Snowman. Yeah, I didn't. That was kind of before me in a way. And I said that Matt Martin art is wicked serious there, pal, isn't it now? You know, I bet you there'll be a second chance. I bet you Ethan's got a shitload printed, and he'll be selling those next week, if not already. Oh, this beer could be a lot colder. I could use a cold beer on this June day. Hey, everybody. It's Pride Month, too. Gay is okay with me, dude. I got gay family. I always have. Got gay friends. Got gay co-workers. Definitely guests, neighbors, and a whole world of people out there, too. So I hear good things about that. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It looks beautiful. Hey, Dwayne. Good to see you, sir. And thanks everyone who tuned in this morning for the premiere. Pops had me on. He had me on his Star Wars Day stream, and then we agreed, like, hey, let's do a quick episode. You know, we haven't talked in a while, and so I was hanging out with Pops for like less than 2 hours at his studio. So we shot 2 episodes of stuff. So one of them premiered this morning. It's called What's My Story? Part 2, I guess. We did one last August. And it's about spirituality and about gratitude. So it was a really nice time, 45-minute long conversation with Pops about spirituality and actualizing spirituality in your everyday life, which is what this dojo for tactical and practical spirituality with Reverend Sully is all about. So well, we did read a couple of those Pride issues. We're going to get to those. Out of the 36, 37 issues, new comic books that we read this week. But first things first. We know when we first... this sounds great, Phil the Kill. Oh, this is good tidings. I stumbled upon what I would consider a holy grail of a find of Eerie mags at a yard sale in my neighborhood. Beat to hell, but I'm so hyped to dig into them. I love those Warren magazines of that bygone era. It's Creepy is one of my favorite magazines too. I like that. I love the ads, especially after 1977 and so much like Star Wars stuff. It's good stuff, man. And but way back in the day, we used to do a live show, not a live show, a daily show. We did a daily show for like it was like 560 days consecutive. And I came so close. Was it five? No, it wasn't 506. Dude, that to me, it was like, it was under 2 years. So, I mean 500 because that's, yeah. We went up until like last August and I hit the wall. But we did daily shows. And a lot of that had revolved around how to properly take care of your comic books and where to get your supplies. I get my supplies at my local comic book shop by LCS. This is a short box. Every time I make a new short box, I'm going to demo this on the show. I also get from my local comic book shop as well bags and boards. Okay. And you can, I don't have a pack of bags or a pack of boards to show off because I prepped them all. You get 100 bags in a pack. You get 100 boards in a pack. And so for some busy work I give myself sometimes, I just pre-board some, I call them skinning. I make some skins. You know what I mean? And it's important to use your boards. I found this out the hard way. All of those comic books that I own have a tremendous amount of spine roll. So, that really takes away from any of its value. It really does. So let's see. Oh, so these are very recent. These brown paper bags. Let's get to something a little less, more than recent here. We only got Duke 3. I got 2 copies of this. It was like right when my my pull list kicked in. So I didn't know, you know, I had an extra copy because I bought one, I believe through Yule Carter. Hello, Lane Kramer. Good to see you. I don't know. I mean, I would rather, I kind of, given the choice, I would rather tape than use the self-adhesive bag. I'm not sure why. I use one piece of tape. Magazine too big for a skin is The Last Ronin issue number 1. It's a cover, I believe. Let's, we can verify that. When it's UPC, you know, this was $8.99. Yep, this is all ones across the board. And I don't have a bag for this. I don't have a board for this. This is an oddball. However, am I going to protect my comic book? Yeah. Oh, don't worry. We'll talk about Ultimate Spider-Man. We're going to get there. It's on the list. Hey, AL. Good to see you. Welcome. It's also some kind of weird sticky kind of thing on the cardstock here. So you gotta just use your fingernail. Be gentle. Remove stickiness. Hopefully no one's going to notice in the 30 years from now when people are going to argue about the 9.2 grading of this. Got issues 42, 43, and 44 of Wolverine, the Sabretooth War. That's how long it's been since I did any bagging and boarding. I've got issues 40 and 41 somewhere. I double these up because that's, you gotta, you know, be realistic about it. Oh, how is that? With lots of used manga, anything like, you know, like Mr. Philbin from Woodshop. He showed up with a box of, you know, Bronze Age goodies. Yeah, so, but we're actually going to talk about the end of this today, because part 10, issue 50 of Wolverine came out this week, and I have something to say about this experience of being a comics fan and being tied into one of these little mini events. Found X Factors 70 through 84. That's 8 issues. That's a 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. So that's 13 floppies for $10. That's good. That's a bargain. We call that a bargain. The best that I ever had. The best I ever had. That's right. I hit that high note. I am pitch perfect. I am walking around this minefield of YouTube strikes, and I am here pitch perfect and doing karaoke, which means tone deaf in Japanese. That's right. This is part. I mean, like, I'm putting it into bags and boards. They're all getting bags and boards. Just maybe I can sell it right away. Hopefully, I got all 10 of them, and we got some of these, like, you know, the bag extra stuff. I love it. It's comic shop news. This is good stuff. This is the DC Connect from May and last month. So this is previewing all the comics that we're looking forward to that we've already got. So that can go. Actually, these can go. Where do these go? And now I have an Ice and Fire reference in my head. Yeah, there's a big difference between Tyrion Lannister in the books and then with Peter Dinklage's portrayal, because there's an important question which separates the two characters, and that's, do you know where whores go? Excuse me, do you know where whores go? It's a Tyrion dealing with the PTSD of everything that just happened to him, his whirlwind escape, the murder of his own father, you know what I mean, and just being like hidden in a wine cask overseas, and being like, you know, it's a bit more intense in the books than it was in the show. I haven't seen Wes's review on Pride yet, or have I? Which one did I watched Wes and Jim talk about Tim Sheridan over brunch today at the pub. I had a pint of Guinness or two, and I had something called the Galway BLT. It was grilled sourdough bread with a garlic mayo, lettuce, fresh romaine lettuce, sliced tomatoes, and an ample stack of Irish rasher style bacon. And then 2 fried eggs with the runny yolk. And then I had the audacity to say, can I get some cheese on that, please? It was great. Wes was cursing out Lane. Very nice. Well, mission accomplished, Lane. There you go. But yeah, should I drop these in the recycle bin? I mean, they're just taking up space. What's up, James? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Good to see everyone in the house on a Sunday afternoon. Free down on a Sunday afternoon. From what I read between the lines, you vibes, boom, boom, boom. Those aren't the words. I don't care. Freely on a Sunday, only yesterday. You cried promises. What I said to be, only time will tell. Oh, by harmony, what I said to thee. Those aren't the words. Who gives a shit? Awesome. I'm having a great time. Are you? Happy Sunday. It gets a little musical here sometimes. You know, life's a musical, man. It's like one of my favorite movies, Auntie Mame. Life is Life is a candy store. Or was it? Well, life is a buffet, and and everyone gets it, and you deserve a taste of a little everything. There's some like floppies here I got from Yule Carter. You sent me some in a package months ago that I been meaning to put on my spinner rack. It's Green Lantern 137 from the 50-cent era that can only be 1980 for DC Comics. Let's look at the indicia. Look what's on the inside. It's a model kit of a Firebird Trans Am. Every kid wanted one. What was this? February of 1981. So this had a shelf of November of 1980. You know what I mean? And look, 25-cent Marvel comic. Look at this. This is wonderful. 25-cent Marvel comic. This could only be 1976 or 1977. 1976. Let's see, 1975, huh? Really? December 1975. Great stuff. I mean, I just love these. These are gonna get some skins, and this is like Kid Colt Outlaw, and these are like reprints of older comic books, originally presented in Kid Colt 85 or something. Yeah, but this is loving these 1976 30-cent comic book. You can tell a lot from a comic book's age. And look at this one too. This is Lloyd Llewellyn's Fantagraphic Books, and this is some ancient John Byrne. This is some really interesting stuff. Look at that logo by Pat Brousseau. Ain't that cool? Drawn by John Byrne, and that was from 1986. Indeed. Featuring classic art. And apparently Byrne had done this art in the late 70s or something like that. Yeah, you can now hit pause. Now read. There you go. Yeah, published 11 years before. Yeah, it was an excellent jail run. And this, I got 3 copies of this. This is I got 1 copy of this. This is Green Arrow number 10. And number 7. I don't buy Green Arrow, but I like these holiday covers. Uh-oh. I just knocked over the bag full of bags. Now they got bags full of bags all over my floor. Oh yeah, hold on. Oops. We have to assemble a box too. Then we have to review some comic books. Let's assemble a box, and then we'll get back to that. So here's our short box. Always, when you're buying a short box at your local comic book shop, double check on the inside. That is the lid, and the lid is inside. This went for a retail price of $7.99. There's a 6-stage pictogram on the bottom. It will be the bottom of this box on how to assemble one. It's language free, and this should be fairly simple. They're connected by just a little, tethers. It's mostly cut. I would not suggest using a sharp object to cut these free. Just give it a little bit of pounds per square inch with your fingertips. And hear that? It just popped right off. Same over here. You see that? It's secure still. But once we just give it a little push, just a little bit, there you go. That's the sound you're looking for. And it's free. Let's follow the instructions. We're going to fold this in. That will be the base of our box. We're going to fold this in. Now let's look inside this. We're going to fold up those sides, those lids, match them up with the holds for the hands. We're going to fold back that first part. And now you have a bottom of this box. Now you have a box that's capable of withstanding the weight of about maybe say like 30 to 35 pounds. Does it say so in the bottom of the box? It does not say anything at the bottom of the box. This is a BCW, which comes from Baseball Card World. And that's like, they used to make those pages with the 3-hole punch that had like, room for 9 or 12 baseball cards on each page. And from there, they went into the same materials to make bags for your comic books. And then they made boards. And yes, they make our supplies. I got Count Dante number 4. That was fun. This is like my this is my valediction with Scout Comics, where we should feel graced and blessed and grateful that Scout Comics finished a 6-issue mini. This is the lid. We just fold it in. It's all folding and folding and folding, like Nigel said in Spinal Tap. Right, just keep folding and folding. I want large bread. Just see this? Right. There you go. There's your lid. Now you have a lid for your box. Now, there's the same principle goes for your long box as it does the short box. I've migrated my entire collection from long boxes into fresher digs, into all new short boxes, new bags, new boards. And I noticed that my collection needed boards from the get-go. I had bags and everything mostly, but when they would flop over in the middle of the box during time, all that spine roll takes its toll. So none of my comic books, none of them really have any resale value beyond, some nostalgia value for another comic book collector being like, hey, you want a full run of DC's 52? Well, I got it, including World War III. Hey, I got a mostly full run of Countdown to Final Crisis. Who the heck wants that? There's got to be a few people out there that's going to be like, hey, I would love to have a full run of Countdown to Final Crisis. So yeah, yeah. So there we go. There's our box, and we're gonna slowly fill it up with these loose boarded and bagged comics. And then for another show, we're gonna like resort everything. But it's more important to get them into bags and boards. Like, here's one. Okay, and also I'm putting aside a bunch of comics to give to young, to friends as kids. You know what I mean? I always do that. And so, this is a good book. It's going to go over their heads, like the pop culture reference, unless I can back it up with like a YouTube link to the old show. But maybe like just something to share. This is fun. I bet anyone can walk into this, especially a new reader, and have a good time with it. Awesome. Hulk number 10. Look, Ultimate Spider-Man number 2. Ultimate Spider-Man number 5 came out this week. It's been a while since we've bagged and boarded anything. And this is a variant cover too. But it doesn't suffer from any spine roll. It's been sitting in a stack of comic books, waiting to be bagged and boarded. Just waiting for its day. Hulk number 9 with a nice 90s style variant cover. I'm a sucker for a variant cover here and there. It can be. I can. There you go. And just they go into the box. There you go. This is how you take care of your comic books. So you might have seen me do it a few times here and there. You know what I mean? Just like you take the opportunity, get a bag of bags, polypropylene bags, get some one-sided acid-free boards, and prep them ahead of time. There are also, are you asking about Mylars? We've got Mylars. Do we? We have Mylars. Where are the Mylars? Mylar somewhere else? Why would you just put your supplies like that? Wouldn't put it past you. Okay, well, the Mylars are apparently somewhere else. And these are just regular bags and boards. But we do have Mylars. They're not just, it's just apparently not with us at this moment in space time. Throw another Dan Slott funny book on the fire. Got G.I. Joe number 34. We're going to be talking about G.I. Joe at the end of the show. Yo, Joe. I'm a big fan of G.I. Joe. I have been all my life. It reminds me I was supposed to grab some funny books from my spinner rack. I can still do that if I wanted to. Hellblazer. Dead in America number 2. I have to find number 1. We've got issues 2 and 3 already of Kneel Before Zod. We've got some of these are boarded and bagged. We got Dukes issue 2 and 3. We got Cobra Commanders. We got Cobra Commander 2, Transformers 5. I'm going to keep these all together. Now here, free comic book day. Energon Universe. It's going to go with its other version when I find it. The Energon Universe 2001 special that's not free comic book day that cost $3.99, which was the exact same book. Free comic book day blood hunt. But all my blood hunts are already polybagged. Whatever shall I do? Well, I need to get a board behind those things. So I'm going to have to waste a bag and a board on a polybag bag because it doesn't have a board. These are all free comic book day. What? This week's comic books? Oh, gee. There are this week's comic books. Oh, gee. Oh, you. Let's see. I'll tell you that we read about 36 different comic books this week. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different image books and a trade paperback as well. Then some others, some big twos. Hello, Dr. Nitrogen's Musical Empire. Hello. Welcome. I will be hosting Shame Month next month, as I usually do in July. After Pride comes shame. For all the things you did during Pride that you weren't too prideful about. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, wow. I should have called that person back. I shouldn't have gotten ghosted. Oh, hey, I got stood up this weekend. It happens. But on a tough lip, honey. Yeah. Aw. Dawn Runner number 3 by Ram V and Evan Cagle. To be sure, I read the first issue. It kind of lost me a bit. And I didn't read the second issue. I only read the third issue here because it was in the it was in my my pirate chest. Yeah, and I usually like Ram V. Heck, Tech came out this week. It was amazing. But yeah, it just wasn't for me. The Bloody Dozen, number 6. This is really fun tale. It's called A Tale of the Shrouded College, and it's about these like 19th, 20th century vampires in the near future in outer space with a, it's a nice mashup of genre. It really is. It's a mashup of horror and sci-fi, which is not that uncommon, but instead of having a xenomorph or a predator or or some slime creature or Darth Vader, you have literal Earth vampires of a period. So it's kind of like disjointed because you have these Western style vampires in space. It works. It's pretty fun. Charles Soule writes it, or Charles Soule. He writes the majority of all the good stuff over at Marvel Star Wars. So it's a nice little science fiction tale that he's not going to write for Star Wars. This is all his. Let's see. What are you going on about? What you going on about? At my high school Comic-Con, they had a small stack of Voices books that they were trying to give away for free. Aww. There you go. Drawing Blood, number 2. Created and story by Kevin Eastman and David Avallone. Script by David Avallone. It's an occasional art by Kevin Eastman in this, which is really fun. I still don't know what to think about this book. If it's like, is he getting help from the characters he's drawing, or is that like, well, you have fun with space with David Papoose. You, David Papoose. How you like them apples? David Papoose. You. Yeah. Grommets, number 1. It's set in 1984. That's what the trade dress. I mean, the trade thing said in the thing. Well, yeah, it even says issue number 1, 1984, and a Thrasher kind of mock-up thing. So that's like telling you what age it's in. But it opens up with like the music's blaring, and it's Jukebox Hero by Foreigner. And that album by Foreigner came out. It's in Sacramento, California, 1984. Okay, right in the top of the page. Don't worry. I suffer from woo! Oh my goodness! It's Pride Month. None of that here, please. It's, that's you're talking about the sex lives of my friends. You know what I mean? They've been wading through so much fucking shit on Twitter about Pride Day, and it's just like, oh my gosh. It's like you all sound like ads from Heel versus Babyface talking about Tim Drake. Seriously. I mean, I get it, but shit. But Jukebox Hero came out in 1981. I know. It was 1984. You should have had something very contemporary. Even like Motley Crue's, like, she's got the looks that kill. You know what I mean? That could have said everything, Bom, 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 bom. No, we drink Harpoon beer, and there's also a lot of microbreweries around here lately called like Winter Hill, which is down the street from here. There's Castle Island Brewery. I don't think it's actually brewed at Castle Island because I'm from there, and they don't have any breweries down there. I think it's just the name. Then you got like Boston Beer Works, and they used to brew their beer right there at the restaurant. They had this blueberry beer, and it was an ale, and it was actually pretty good. They would put the blueberries on top, and it would just travel up and down the length of your pint glass if you're drinking it. And this predates the boba tea, and this is booze. This is beer we're talking about. Okay, we remember those. Yeah, I love those. And speaking of if you ever read Powers by Brian Michael Bendis and Michael Avon Emming, the first couple of volumes of Powers were modeled after VH1 Behind the Music, because they were like spotlighting, because every superhero team was like a band. And so these exposés were just like, just set up just like meets a police procedural. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I never caught the ending of it though. But Grommets was fun. I mean, it's a period piece. I was a kid in 1884. I was 11, going on 12. I'd be going on 12 in November. So it's just like all those years. It's just like, yeah, I'm like in 84. I was 11 in the summer of 84 with all the breakdancing and Michael Jackson, but New Wave. It was a great time to be a kid. And there was Newburn. This is trade paperback number 2. And it's written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Jacob Phillips, who you might remember from the recent phenomenon, the Enfield Gang Massacre. And this is very much like, this is some like, it's very much like an Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips noir crime thriller, coming from like a very similar kind of set, and it was okay. It actually, in the end, reminded me of those like British police procedurals, which have just a little different of a flavor than their American counterparts. And I like the distinction. I do like the British shows and stuff, but yeah, thank you. I mean, I love that book. I never finished it. Apparently, it's a closed book. It's a closed entity, or they can open it every time they want. I think. I don't know. I don't know what happens to Dina Pilgrim. I don't know what happens to Diamond. I don't know what happens to Retro Girl 2. You know what I mean? Does the story still going on? You know what I mean? Is it a never-ending story? It was so good though for a while. I think maybe Going Hollywood shot these things in the foot, because you had Bendis and maybe there's like 7 years of development, and so anything, something like that. That's where if you wonder where Milkfed Productions, Matt Fraction stuff went, Kelly Sudaconic stuff, like that kind of level of indie stuff out of those two, I think it's all tied up in these Netflix deals, because they had the clout to sign a Millar deal. But now, like, if they don't do anything, it's kind of like one of these contract things. If you don't do anything with it for 7 years, that the rights are going to relapse back to yourself. So if they keep making new, like if Fraction made New Casanova and published it, that would just be more concept for your production deal. And if you let it go fallow for the agreed amount of time, those rights will revert back to you, and you don't have to worry about that anymore. You can just go publish and be free of the barnacles. That's my opinion. Okay, I don't know anything. I haven't, that's what I think. But Bendis did that. Emming did that. It was called the PlayStation Channel, and it was the premiere show of the PlayStation Network TV network 10 years ago, maybe a dozen years ago. It had what's his name? Chartlow, from District 9, and they race swapped Dina Pilgrim. And it was I think it got over a season or more. I don't know. I tried to watch the first few episodes. It didn't take. There's Knights issue number 7 by Wyatt Kennedy, Luigi Formisano. It's supernatural stuff. Yeah, it's very Steve Niles. If you know his Cal McDonald stuff. I love that old Steve Niles stuff. Just like, Monster Macabre, Criminal Macabre, 666. That was the Cal McDonald. Is it Cal McDonald? Was that the name of the character? That was some good stuff. And he's a nice guy too. I always enjoyed running into him at cons. There's the Six Fingers by Dan Waters, which is the parallel story too The One Hand by Ram V. So it's like two parts of the same story. So, but it's this really audacious kind of publishing to it. You get dueling floppies. So you'll have dueling trade paperbacks, or maybe would you have a united omnibus showing it, month by month, issues number 1, issues number 2 to 6, instead of just broken up into. Really? See, and these are just this is publishing, indeed. And then there was World Tree number 10 by James Tynion on his Tiny Onion imprint, and very internet, macabre, supernatural, demons and blood and killing and horror. It's horror stuff. Yeah, Tynion does horror stuff, so it's okay. I've been tuned into it for a couple of issues. I'm a little bit Babe Lost in the Woods kind of on it, but I mean, whatever, man. Whatever. It's all good. Now we've come to let's present. Let's look at some shit. Maybe we'll get a strike. Maybe we won't. I used this site this week. It's called readallcomics.com. This is prior. This can I get into trouble for this? Let me know in the chat if you think so. But this is flying the high seas. All right, and this is what you get. And if I put read comics online in a Google search, this was the second suggestion I got, and I read a bunch of these comic books, like Death Ratioed by Mark Russell, Lacey, and Mark Lesko on AWA. It's a one-shot, and it was pretty darn good. It had it really took cues from like Fight Club, like the relationship stuff. Like there's dashes of Children of Men between, say, like Clive Owen and Julianne Moore, or even Bananas, Sleeper rather, with Woody Allen and Annie Hall there. You know what I mean? Not Jane Curtin. Thank you. And this, it was actually pretty okay. I mean, this was an okay story. This is a Mark Russell story. I'm reading. He's getting a lot of work lately. So, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, this is, I was just branching out with my, my pirate skills here. And this is what I got. Yeah. But if they're good, I'll go back and get it. Power Girl number 9. Oh, man. Harley Quinn number 40. Yeah, huh? Well, at least she's wearing her old costume. You want to look at it? All right. Let's look at it. It's got a backup feature, too. It's really, and they're kind of terrible because it's like they were fun when I think they're more fun when they're more whimsical, because the backup features all end with Harley waking up from a dream, and that's cliche in comic books and comic book storytelling. That is pre-Golden Age. It's called Little Nemo in Dreamland, or Little Nemo in Slumberland, and you had this like a huge fantasy world with Little Nemo, and at the end of it, the last panel is him crashing back into reality, being jarred from his beautiful adventure into the real world, his real bed, he's really waking up for the day. And he's going, ah, that feature, that thing we all share of waking up before the dream was over, yeah. And these are pirated comics, and I will go back and buy them if they're good. Batman, the Brave and the Bold, number 13. This ended up being pretty darn good. You have a Tim Seeley written, Kelly Jones drawn Nightwing story as a part 1, because this is like a strange kind of anthology where the anthology tales sometimes are serialized. So there are like 5 tales in here. Only one of them is a part 4. The other ones are either one shot or part 1s. It officially says Katie Kubrick at the end of this book, being the group editor. And this is a really interesting team up between that's Simone DeMeo cover artwork there. But our team up is between Boston Brand, the Dead Man, and Dick Grayson, Nightwing. And they got something in common. They're both circus people. And it's this beautiful Kelly Jones art. So we start the issue off with Kelly Jones art, and we finish it with a standalone called Perp Walk. It's plot and art by Jason Sean Alexander, who was doing the majority of the heavy lifting on Ram V's Detective Comics for some of that Gotham Nocturne stuff. And he's out of this world, really good. This is, so we also have Time Jerks here, written by Mark Russell. All right. And see Artemis, The Poison Within by Delia Dawson, part 4. And so this is some of these are continuity, and some of these are definitely non-canonical. They have to be. So Batman Brave and the Bold is this really weird hodgepodge of stories. But look at this art. Look at this. This is Kelly Jones. Kelly Jones is so good with this. The hatching. This is all traditional kind of values of comic book storytelling. Look at that. We've got this great, it's 6 panels here. And we have these 2 undefined panels up top and bottom of Dick in motion. And then we have these 4 in the middle here that just convey the story. And this is just so oh my gosh. This is Kelly Jones artwork. This is some good stuff. This is Batman Dark Age number 3. Once again, Mark Russell. It's like Mark Russell's week. It's like Jed McKay has a week over in Marvel. It's always like Doctor Strange releases the same week as like Avengers and Bloodhunt or something like that. But Batman Dark Age number 3, you have this really great art by Mike Allred and Laura Allred. And it's like period piece. So it's really anchored to certain sections of time, like Batman 1971 in the prime of his life, Batman 2030. So you have that old man Bruce, and he's speaking to his quasi granddaughter, who is handling his case. It's Dick and Barbara's daughter. And I did not read Unnatural Order number 4. Sorry, I did not read Grim Fairy Tales. Yeah, oops, turkey's done. That means throw another Dan Slott book on the fire. But yeah, so this is just like, thank you, AL. You have a wonderful day. Good to see you. And you have a great day. And thank you. AL's wonderful. She really is. Feel the Kill says, I couldn't help but notice the only local comic book shop I have within a 15 miles has a 4x4 rainbow flag in their window as of yesterday. Remind me but why I don't go there. But you know what? You could go there. Don't worry about that. If, I don't know. It's just like there's a point where it just like, I will never tell anyone how to feel and what to think. Never do that. I don't tend to that go too kindly myself. Like, who are you to tell me what to think? Who are you to tell me how to feel? Who are you to tell me where to shop? But okay, I'm not part of the alphabet community, but I am a professional chef and I work in a Boston area university. And for a while, I was working in the public marketplace part of my cafe. So I was like there's a lot of interaction with the guests, and working for a university, you're working with a lot of young people and a lot of college, these college undergrads too, and college grad students. What I used to do, I would wear a rainbow of Sharpies. Like we needed Sharpies to write labels on, dates and stuff and do paperwork with. And so it's just, I got the rainbow pack of Sharpies. I wore them, and it creates a lot of goodwill, and you can talk to more customers, and people get like, they let their guard down and they're a little bit more comfortable. So maybe it's an attempt by the people that own the shop to be like, hey, you know what? This place is a safe space for these kind of people, because that's the way these people think. That's the way they've been brought up. And it's just more of like, once again, I'm not going to tell you how to think, how to feel, where to shop, or who to vote for, or whatnot. I just more of like, I'm for giving people chances. I'm for, gay is okay with me. I have a gay aunt. I had a gay uncle. That's a sob story too, because you know what happened to him, it does, really doesn't happen that much anymore. Not here. I mean, listen, he was the late 70s. He was really flamboyant, and he got bundled in San Francisco. He got his leg stomped on a curb. He got gay bashed. That really happened to someone in my family. For what? For being gay? Well, that's how it was in the 20th century. We're in the 21st century, so that is like it's part of. I mean, like the what? What's going on? I'm getting too spicy. My new TV tried to block the stream. Really awesome. Yeah. Well, I had we have I live in a blue state, in a blue city, and we have the comic book shops that I grew up with around in Boston. Some of them had adult and erotic art sections, and it was more than Mobius. It was more than Heavy Metal Magazine, Milo Manara. You had the Japanese anime style, and you also had things like Tom of Finland too, which was for gay men. And seriously, I mean, just like, yeah, I mean, you got to keep kids away from that adult section. Be like, nope, sorry, get out. That's it. That's on the house. I mean, yeah. So, but yeah. Well, that's good to know, though. Yeah, these were controversial. Sweet. Okay, here comes one that I read, and I want to show you a page from. This is Star Trek Celebrations 2004. It's one of our Pride issues. Now, this is a hodgepodge of different Treks. Now, I know that IDW has. Oh, I know that IDW might be in trouble with CBS Paramount there with Trek. Someone out in the YouTube sphere, with a source has claimed that IDW will be losing their Star Trek license in 2025, and maybe something else as well, unspecified. And IDW only has a few licensed properties left, such as the other Hasbro stuff, My Little Pony, which is what my first thought, because they already lost Transformers and G.I. Joe, and probably anything like Mask, or anything that's related with Skybound. I could totally see My Little Pony moving over there. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is like one of their is another one of their that's their biggest licensed property, and they stopped at their issue 150, and they're also going to a new issue number 1, the Jason Aaron stuff that's coming up. But so you got all the names here. We watch the same shows. We're united by the same shows. I'm just not gonna listen. It's not my style. I'm not gonna pick on Vita Ayala. I watch you, boy Zach. I know what Richard Meyer says about her, and a lot of it's kind of unfair and cruel, but it's funny. There is that. There's Megs Visaggio on doing Facemaker here, and it just says inks and colors. Then there's Stephanie Williams, just like this is a murderer's row, and Steve Orlando. So this is, exactly. But see, we can tell by this Enterprise right here that is the 2009 Bad Robot Chris Pine movie edition, and this is the Sulu from that as well. I just want to show you one. There's one about Rafi and 7 of 9, which is the Secret Hideout universe stuff. There's one about Brave New Worlds, Christine Chappell. Dr. Phlox as well is there. But okay, look at this. Oops. This is, okay, see, Friday, May 22nd, 2257. Look at, and everything else is like, the insignia is on the correct side of the uniform. That's the Tig Notaro character, and that's Stamets, whose boyfriend is the doctor, I guess, of USS Discovery. Okay, but look at this. See the NCC number here? Oops. Okay, that's what we're talking about. That's in reverse. That's backwards. That's up there with all the, if you can think of all the editor's greatest misses. There's an editor to this line of IDW Star Trek books, and this individual is very consistent with their misses. I know, huh? This one is probably the book that got the most kind of like Ahoy Comics. All right, written by Tom Payer. Tom Payer is actually he's a name. He's an old hat. Jamal Igle, sure. I mean, he makes controversial. He's like very anti-CG, sure. But that's like those folks are their own biggest target. So, but this comes from, it's called The Wrong Earth. And so it's like a team up of like in an Adam West universe version with a, Frank Miller version of the same hero and sidekick. And it's called Dragonfly Man. Look, it's the story so far. And this catches you up real quick because this is, issue 2 of this is probably I think the second or third volume of this. Hey, Niobe Comics, good to see you. How are you? Awesome. Hope you're having a good time. Dragonfly Man and Stinger are back where they belong on campy Earth Alpha. Unfortunately, grim and gritty Dragonfly and Stinger 2 of Earth Omega are stuck there too. And none of them know where Lady Dragonfly Man ended up. And the hilarity ensues. And this is a pretty decent superhero comic book. It's just, do you like superhero comic books? Do you like superhero stories told? This is pretty decent. Ahoy Comics. I don't think I've ever bought an Ahoy comic. I don't think I've ever seen one on the rack. But this was like, Pyre runs with fire. Heard. Thank you. It could be Sonic the Hedgehog, though. Issue 69 here. Sonic the Hedgehog. I never read Sonic the Hedgehog. Dwayne has read Wrong Earth volumes 1 and 2. So this is like a volume 3, I guess. And this just seemed like a really interesting story, set in its own universe, using its own characters. Isn't this what we're asking for? New stories with new characters. And, it's familiar because it's superhero genre, Yeah, exactly. Sonic comics have a huge, long-time following for the past 30 years. There are like a couple of comics out there that you'd be like Simpsons had comic books that had a huge following. Sonic the Hedgehog has just this is like, what's making IDW money? It's got to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's My Little Pony, because those are reliable, legitimate forces in comic books, in periodical publications. Now, here's one that was pretty fun. This is Rye, Book of the Dark. It's Road to Resurgence of the Valiant Universe. So it's Valiant Comics now being published through Alien Books. It's $4.99 a floppy. I have not seen any of these floppies yet. I would like to see them. Check out the binding. Check out, are they side stitch, staple stitch? Are they got perfect binding? They got a spine, you know what I mean? I see what kind of paper that they're doing. You know what I mean? I like floppies. And this was a really interesting, pretty good issue 1, written by Dan Abnett, who's this guy knows how to write a comic book, a superhero comic books. So Valiant has its own stable of superheroes, like Exo Man of War, Shadow Man. They just Bloodshot, and the list goes on and on. So this was actually pretty okay, and it was a decent superhero comic book. What else did we read this week? We read Midnight Suns #1, A Blood Hunt, which was actually pretty decent. Jackpot and Black Cat, which was, wow. I hope this is one Lane Kramer has got some Patreon money on to make Doc cringe. Now, here's the one. Okay, Ben Percy, returning to a character that got brought up in his very own Ghost Rider Wolverine crossover. Ben Percy is also writing Ghost Rider, and he's been writing Wolverine. And we'll talk about Ben Percy at the end of this when we look in this when we find out what's in the bag of comic books. Yeah, then exactly. Oh no. But I couldn't read Becky Cloonan stuff because she's blocked me on Twitter. I'm not going to spend my money with her. Sorry, that's the first hurdle. I can't accept. I'm not going. I'm screwed. Sorry. But Helverine #1 by Ben Percy. This is about returning to a character that they filled up Wolverine full of some demon energy. So he got he got fiery. He got fire. He got hot claws back. But they're not like hot claws. They're not made of Phoenix Force. They're made of the Marvel stuff. This is called Hellfire. Marvel, like the Pym particles, unstable molecules, repulsor energy, arc reactor stuff. This is like Marvel universe physics. Okay, Hellfire is one of those forces. Hellfire. And that's what, Johnny Blaze, might be separated from the Xanathos, the spirit of vengeance, but at least he knows he can manifest Hellfire through his own shotgun. And so he can still contribute to super heroics some way. We talked about Drawing Blood. That was okay. Now, here comes our X-Men. Rise of the Powers of X, #5 by Kieran Gillen. This is one more issue of X-Men in the Krakoa Age left, and it is Uncanny X-Men number 700, aka X-Men Volume 6, issue 35 by Jerry Duggan and probably Stefano Caselli, and who's been doing most of the, as long as it's not Phil Noto, who I love, but I gotta say he can't draw action. Like kinetic action fighting scenes. He's good at drawing pretty people, though. What's up with that? Not only is it Marvel Voices, not only is it Marvel Pride, it's Marvel Voices Pride. That's right. We have intersectional feminism, intersectional critical theories at work on a comic book cover. Yeah, I'll read it for free if it's part of if it's in my my pirate chest, but no, I'm not going to pay for Becky Cloonan's writing. Screw that. The wedding special is just, as vapid as you can expect. It's an anthology. It all leads to the end, where it's kind of like, The Graduate meets Thelma and Louise, but if Thelma and Louise had a happy ending, it's great, I was I? Aw. Thank you. But Rise of the Powers of X #5. This wraps up Kieran Gillen's part of landing the Krakoa era. This does a lot of sewing things up. It resolves Moira. It resolves Charles. I think X-Men 700, Uncanny X-Men 700, the last issue of the Krakoan Age. It's just, it's just going to tie up plot threads, open up questions for the upcoming stuff. And that's that. And who cares? I mean, it's done. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'll put it that way. Wolverine, Volume 7, Issue 50. Well, stick a pen in that. But here's 2 Star Wars: The High Republic stories, adventures from Dark Horse Comics. One written by Kevin Scott, too, at Saber for Hire. And Kevin Scott writes High Republic over on Marvel Comics. And just it's just a weird split of story and of resources and of like even this one, Star Wars High Republic Adventures Phase 3. So this is also the same Phase 3 as Marvel Star Wars High Republic Phase 3. That they're happening in the same space of storytelling, and it seems like you're over on Dark Horse. Why are you doing the same thing that Marvel's doing? I mean, yeah. And then there came this Jango Fett book that I skipped this because this is not good. Well, not for me. And I like this character too. There was Darth Maul, red, black, and black, white, and red. Once again, our friend Mark Russell. He's written this entire issue. This is not an anthology. This is just a standalone. And I opened it up, read a few issues, I put it down. There's Knights #7. We talked about that earlier. Ultimate Spider-Man #5. Stick a pin in that, Chief. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Here has been one of the best, surprising, disarming, and satisfying comics, and I'm so glad I get to read different comics I would never, ever buy. And Spider-Punk Arms Race by Cody Ziegler is one of them. Spider-Punk is a multiverse Spider-Man. And I dig that art. I'm really digging that art. Look at that. And I like the design of the info dump page. Swinging through Earth 138 with his axe in hand, his guitar. Hobie Brown brings the sound and the fury as the hero of the revolution, the one and only anarchic Spider-Punk. Dr. Otto Octavius doesn't play games after his prototype Spider Slayer for Justin Hammer got trashed by the Spider Band. It's an alternate. It's pretty fun. Otto killed Justin in a whole room of their investors and launched his real Spider Slayer Sentinel. But Hobie and the gang ain't out of the fight just yet. Turn the page and check out the new Spider Van tech. It's clean Cody Ziegler, jazzy Justin Mason, majestic Maury Hollowell, triumphant Travis Lanham for lettering, and that's really classic Marvel credits alliteration. I kind of like the design of this page. I like this, yeah. And here we are. It's got now this art. It's kind of this is issue 4 of 4. that's wrapping it up. But the art here, it's just so reminiscent of like Brendan McCarthy and just like some really punky tones to this, like late 80s, early 90s, like authentic indie stuff. I mean, I really enjoyed the heck out of this. The van is the head of his giant robo. And we all know that Spider-Man, the Japanese 1970s show, he had a giant robo named Leopardion. I'm not making this up, man. You didn't read Ready Player One? Again, like, actually, I was telling Wes about this last week, and he was talking about it this week, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. Spider-Boy Volume 2, issue number 7 by Dan Huslot, but cover by Humberto Ramos. But still, Spider-Boy has, it's for me, reading all of the Spider-Man stories, all, the entire suite of them, it's got to be the most solid and entertaining, consistent, and engaging. I mean, Spider-Boy himself, Bailey Briggs, is a misfit. He's been erased from the timeline. He's about 11 or 12 years old. He's a kid, but he's a kid. He's Spider-Man's kid sidekick. And what I get out of this is, it's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And you might have seen it as a pyramid. So you need to have your foundation, and, you need to have like physical security, financial security, love, and then like respect. And then you can have all the stuff like on top of that, like family and, friends and all this, So he's got all this power, being a superpowered kid, and he's down in his luck, and he keeps making the heroic choice. He keeps making heroic choices instead of taking shortcuts. He's always tempted to take shortcuts and to, but he makes heroic choices when he could be choosing differently to make his own situation better. Which is, so I really enjoy. I gotta say, I've been enjoying that. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver I passed on because it's more the same of the same old. Night Thrasher 4 of 4. It just lands the plane fine. This was I felt this was a really decent book. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers: The Return 4 of 4. Co-written by Amy Jo Johnson, the original actress who played the Pink Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I love Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when it came out. I'm like her age. She's like just like a year or two older than me. And she's so pretty. And I was so heartbroken when Jason David Frank took his own life on my birthday. Oh, so Edge of Spider-Verse is still coming out. I skipped it this week. I didn't care. What else? Got a couple more going on. We got Black Panther Blood Hunt, 1 of 3. Spoilers, everyone. La 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 la. T'Challa is a vampire. He got turned by Blade in Blood Hunt 1. Sorry. So, I guess that warrants a mini for him. Fine. Unnecessary spin-off and buy-in shit. You don't need to get this if you don't, there might be a few, like one, tie-ins that are worth it, but not all of them. That's what I've learned with events. You don't have to get everything. Unless you don't want to. Avengers Twilight, number 6 of 6. This wraps it up. And Chip Zdarsky's best work in a long time. Daniel Acuna's art in this is fascinating. It's fabulous. I love it. I really, really like this. In the future, the world is still haunted by H-Day, a battle with the artificial intelligence Ultron that resulted in the deaths of many heroes. And so this has been unfairly or fairly compared to Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. It leaves you with that same kind of future, and it's pretty good. I read this 2000 AD urban legend. This is 2000 AD. It's Prague 2384. 2000. Hold on a second. I need a calculator. That's 2,384 weeks. So 2000 AD has been being published consecutively for about over 45 years every week. And this is the home of Judge Dredd. This is the big British magazine, 2000 AD. Yeah. And it's all right. I mean, yeah, it's very Euro. I mean, that's kind of dumb to say because it is European. But it's good to check out the difference. I opened up this Pride magazine. I think I closed it. I couldn't get let's look at it real quick. Who's who? Who is that? Who's next to Supergirl? I mean, that's Steel. And okay, that's Dreamer. Who's the guy in green? Is that supposed to be Pied Piper? I don't think so. It's not Raleigh. There's Harley Quinn. There's Aquaboy. There's Superboy and Jay Nakamura. Is that Red Arrow? Or is that Tracy? Is that Tracy 13? Because of the 13 on her chest, on her shirt. Because I think I might be right. But look, we got Hello Space Boy by Al Ewing. We've got Nicole Maines. We've got Phil Jimenez, who's been Phil Jimenez's art. Well, if you like Phil Jimenez's art, that means you also like Alphabet People. He's wicked gay. But it was just like, oh, all this purple right after. Look at all this purple, and it's some B characters and C characters. Yeah, I mean, it's Starman. One of the this Prince Gavin Starman. Oh my goodness! It's oh boy, look here we go. Oh boy. Yep, and there's your Pride issue. I mean, it was Orion queer too? Or just about? Uh-oh. No, Aquaboy's got a boyfriend. But yeah, that's about it. So that's oh boy, we lost two viewers showing that Pride issue. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Penguin number 10 of 12 by Tom King. This is Tom King using his forces of evil for the forces of good. This is I'm really enjoying this. I am. It's told in a disjointed, Tarantino. This is his Tom King at his Tarantino best. Seriously, it's violent. It can be. It's harmful to characters, which really that's Tom King's wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. Detective Comics, 1085. Wonderful art by Stefano Raffaele. I love this art. Draws beautiful women. I just dig this Batman suit. It's like Batman's back in Gotham after all this, the Orgum stuff. I almost said Orcus. Happy 420. There you go. Things you can't show on the TV. These are the 7 words you can't say on television. But I like that. I looked into his face and I saw that I had outgrown him, that my endeavors were about something bigger than my own past, that the victories matter only to the masks, that the man within had found peace in his eternal struggle. I don't need saving from my demons. They are a part of me now. They make me who I am. They give me strength. I like this. I kind of like this bat suit too. It's kind of like the opposite of what's going on over at Zdarsky's Batman run. Highly technical, highly, you know what I mean? I mean, this isn't going anywhere besides the next writer. I mean, this is just a Batman adventure that's somewhere before Absolute Power, but after his multiverse tripping throughs, losing a hand. I think he still has his hand here, but also he just went through something really harrowing with night terrors being turned into like a dream thing, and then also Beast World, where he was turned into a werewolf, and then before that there was Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, where he was dead and in peace on his own kind of perfect planet. He's had a busy couple of years. The Batman has, huh? I am enjoying Tech though. 1085. It's got the goods, man. I really feel that. Flash, Volume 6, Issue 9, by Cy Spurrier. I mean, it's probably the most readable of the 9 issues he's put out so far, the one that makes the most sense, even though he's trying his hardest to be Grant Morrison. I mean, seriously, just be yourself, Cy. You're doing a really wonderful job over on Hellblazer, Dead in America. There's no reason to, you don't have to rip off Grant Morrison. I mean, be yourself. How about Green Arrow number 12? I just want to I like the cover. See, because I like that trade dress, that countdown to absolute power thing up top here. That's like kind of fun. We got some Phil and Hester art in here. This is a really nice. If you like decent superhero stories and just the DC stories, I mean, Joshua Williamson is writing Green Arrow for you. It's like got its fingers in like every story that's going on in every part of the DC universe, but that's probably pretty much kind of its job, I guess. It's this title exists because of popular demand. Indeed. Grant Morrison's stunt double. Thank you, Dwayne. Let's see. We have the DC. So DC had 2 Pride issues because it's Pride. It's also Men's Health Month. Yeah, here's like, wow. Here's are all the writers. Here's all the artists. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, It's an interesting. This is Tinian is running a Batwoman thing. It's interesting because it talks about Alice, her twin sister. And so it's got this whole Batwoman versus the Alice in Wonderland thing, and it's an interesting art style too. But I don't know anything really about current Batwoman. Okay, was there anything else we read this week? So we're getting close. Okay, Nottingham number 12. But people, this was the first issue of Nottingham I've ever read. Yeah. I just hadn't gotten to it yet. And this one lives up to its billing. I love Robin Hood stories. Like one of my favorite all-time Robin Hoods was the early 1980s BBC television production, Robin Hood Locksley. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So this is Robin Hood meets Game of Thrones, and this is issue 12, and I've walked into a story full of murder, death, intrigue, cruelty, double crossing, with very familiar characters and in circumstances, but like turned up to 11. There's a Holy Roller. That was interesting. It's at 6 of 9. Feral number 3. I got the first issue. I'll probably kick it over to one of the kids. See if they like it. You know what I mean? It's got this like Don Bluth animation style to it. Some, house pets. You've got, there's a rabies outbreak, and it appears that, every domestic pet must be like surrendered and put down. And then the van tips over. The house cats get out. One of them has been exposed to the rabies, and their eyes are slowly going red. And along the way, they meet they're running away from rabies exposed wolves and raccoons and other cats and dogs, and meeting feral cats who's teaching them along the way. So it's kind of like, Stilgar and Paul Muad'Dib when he first gets to the desert. Like, you'll make it or you won't. That's what I got to say about those. So those are the I also read this one too, Pooh versus Bambi 2 of 3. This is fun. If you can find this, pick this up. It's on a Zenescope. I want to pick this up. 22 pages of content. This is what we get for letting things slip into the public domain. You get Winnie the Pooh stories such as this. Yeah, and that's it for the 36 digital pirated copies we got this week. But what are we getting now? Hold on, please. Wow. What are we getting now? We're getting to the bag of funny books. Look, this bag is on its last leg. It's made its last journey to the LCS. It's going to recycling. It's going to line one of my garbage bags just to have some paper to wick off some of those ground coffee beans, you know what I mean, that come out of the French press when we're done. You know what I mean? It's just because you don't want to be dripping, have a puddle in the corner of your garbage bag. You put in spent paper and spent brown paper bag. That's what you do. There's a life hack for you right there. What do we get this week from our local comic book shop? We've got 4 floppies. We were supposed to be last. That's okay. We got 4 floppies this week. 2 Marvel comics, 3 technically 1 DC comic. Let's get to those in a minute. Marvel was disappointed. This is a very weak week. This is a WEAK. It was a weak week. Everyone's saying it, though. I mean, it's not just me. This is issue 5 of Ultimate Spider-Man. It should have primary art by Marco Cicchetto. And this is issue 2 of just some talky stuff. It's David Messina is the guest artist. Here's your info dump page. You want to see the info dump page here? Yeah, there you go. And now you know. And so we've met. This is, well, ladies and gentlemen, Ultimate Otto Octavius, Doctor. That's Gwen Stacy, who is Mrs. Norman Osborn. No, Mrs. Harry Osborn. Wouldn't it be funny if there's a Gabriel and Sarah here too? That's a deep cut. I mean, talk about like retcons. I mean, it's Gabriel. Where is Gabriel and Sarah in the current continuity? Did Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars do anything to help resolve something like that? But this is just lots of just talking, lots of nothing too much going on. Like there's not a lot of action in this. Well, there's some action. I mean, like it's hindsight stuff, but it's more like, hey, that's Kingpin versus the new Prince of New York. Now that Norman Osborn's dead, and this is it. Yeah, this is what we're getting. This is issue 5 of Ultimate Spider-Man. We got one panel with Spider-Man. In this entire book. It says 3 months ago, and it's just like that zap there. Is that Peter on his first night out when he had that nondescript Venom looking book, Venom looking outfit? I think so. But this was boring. Yeah. Sorry, this is boring. And hey, I'm gonna put it right into a bag and board. How's that? Yeah. Hey, look at there's at the back cover. That's an ad. It's about Star Warsy stuff. I've been getting into Twitter fights with Star Wars fans again. I don't mean to. They're just so prissy. This is Wolverine number 50. Behold. The price. The cover price is $7.99. Usually this goes for $4.99. And it has for the past 9 issues. So I've spent I've been in, this is the finale, part 10 of 10, 50 Years of Wolverine. This is Sabretooth War, part 10. The Mystery of the Adamantium Armor. It's Sabretooth versus, it's Logan versus Victor, final round. This was kind of a miss. And so I spent $53 on 10 floppies. And it didn't land very well. Now, there were lots of parts of this story that were really over the top and really fun. So maybe maybe this gets 6 out of 10, literally, because 6 issues of this were pretty good and 4 weren't. 4 were just like, well, underwhelming. Will this get a 6 out of 10? But it's like, it's extra. I mean, just, yeah, huh? And There's a Larry Hama story at the end, which is nice. So Larry Hama is really good at writing Wolverine. And look, a junk food ad, which always pleases me. Yeah, so that's it for Wolverine's Sabretooth War. I mean, sorry, Mr. Percy, it didn't land. It landed, but sorry, I mean, just not wasn't. I feel like, am I being too picky? Am I being too picky? Will you let me know in the comments? And just it was fine. It was decent. It was competent. Is $53 the going rate for that level of storytelling? I don't know. Would I be buying it anyway? No, I didn't. I bought it specifically for the Sabretooth War because I thought it was going to be pretty hot. It was shaping. It started off pretty bloody and but I don't know. I don't have answers. All I have are more questions. And I got these two facsimiles. All right, they were $6.99 each. This is a Golden Age facsimile of Military Comics #1 from August of 1941 from Quality Comics. Quality Comics were a competitor to national periodicals and Fawcett Comics. They have, in part of their library, this is Blackhawk, first issue of Blackhawk. They also had Plastic Man at Quality Comics. So this was so much fun. I had to get, there was one copy left at my LCS, and I'm like, this is great. I mean, an old-fashioned military war comic before we entered World War II officially. Remember, December 7th, 1941. And those comics would have a cover date of at least February 1942, March 1942. Probably February 1942. So anything after a cover date of February of 1942, the United States has entered World War II officially against Japan. The United States does not officially enter the European theater officially until June 4th, 1944 on D-Day. That's just history. Yeah, 1944. Yeah. And so yeah, this is Military Comics. What got me though is like you open it up and the first ad on the inside. This is I love it. This will warn you in the indicia on the bottom of the page, like this product is from sustainably made. Well, it is a kind of it's very newspaperish. Does it have where's the it's over here. The modernity caveat. This comic reprinted here was produced in a time when racism played a larger role in society and popular culture, both consciously and unconsciously. It is presented here without alteration for historical reference. The advertisements featured in this comic were reprinted for editorial reasons only. The products and or services advertised and the terms and conditions offered by each sponsor were available at the time of the original publication and would not be available today. Okay, but look at it. Okay, I pointed this out to the late 20-something guy at my local comic book shop who was at the register, and I'm like, have you ever seen A Christmas Story? And he's like, yeah, of course I have. And I'm like, okay. And I said, look at the first ad in this August 1941 facsimile. It's the Red Ryder BB rifle, the Red Ryder carbine. What do you want for Christmas, kid? I want a Red Ryder carbine BB gun. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. And it was nice too, because I'm 51 years old, and this is someone like literally half my age. The torch has been passed. You know what I mean? And just gotta like, you know, that's a connecting moment like that like, you know, like, oh wow, those really that was, you know. So we have Blackhawk's first sale. You know Blackhawk from DC Comics, Blackhawk Squadron, Lady Blackhawk. Lady Blackhawk's great, especially you read Birds of Prey. You know how it's great too, because I believe he was like Polish and he fought for the Allies, which is what happened in World War II as well. The Polish people were displaced by Germany and also the warring Soviet Union. And there were fighter squadrons of Polish aviators and flying out of England. And this is an awful symmetry that since the Allies won World War II, but when Poland got repatriated itself, it was under the Soviet auspices. And so those flyers that flew for the British, they were convicted of war crimes and imprisoned. And most were like, you know, let off and things after a time. But still, it's like, wow. Huh? That's true. But yeah, Blackhawk, great story. Started here, and there's like just several tales in here. But I'm like, look at these panels. I'm loving these panels. They have foreground, midground, and background. And then they got more background in these panels here from 1941 than we get from like these digital artists these days, where it's just it's a blur effect or it's a screen tone filter. I mean, just you know, there's plenty of blank backgrounds. Okay, yes, I guess that's all still relative to the talent of the artists themselves. Okay, but I mean, this was a fun comic book. There's the Army section. There was the Navy section. You got to keep them apart, or else they'll get into brawls here. And then there's just like, you know, print stuff. This 60 pages, 10 cents. And 10 cents in 1941 could be somewhere between $1.80 and $2.10 today. And what else did we get? This is the last one we got this week. You know, I have a weakness for the fall of 1981. I was 8 years old going on 9. I would be 9 years old in November. So starting in late August, so the comic books that Marvel produced that I would buy from the spinner rack at Patty's Pantry near my auntie's place, you know, I'd be getting these. And I still, to this day, collect as many as I can. This has been on my list for a while. This is Avengers Annual number 10. It was originally a 75-cent comic book in the 50-cent days. So this was released probably late August, early September of 1981. Because Marvel Comics go from 50 cents to 60 cents during this campaign. This is a hard issue to find. Actually, it's Rogue of the X-Men's first appearance. And also there is a kind of a first appearance of a character named Maddie Pryor. She doesn't have red hair. Okay. And look, this was written by Chris Claremont. Art by Michael Golden, of whom is going to one of the fan expos, either Fan Expo or WickedCon this year. I'm going to have Michael Golden sign this for me this is for my spinner rack and for the rest of the books that have this. So I was looking for a reader copy of Avengers Annual number 10. And so I think that overall at $7 is perfectly fine to be spending on this book, even with its, because it's on different paper. You know what I mean? It's on glossy paper. It's the colors try to be, what's Patty's Pantry, Spinner Rack Issues, and Peach Momoko covers. Eric's biggest weakness. You got that right. Yeah. And this is good. This is a really, hey, look, this is where it goes back. We have the wedding issue this week. Here it comes. This is where all this stuff restarts. Destiny, oh, my beloved friend, it is so good to see you. You know what I mean? Is that, we have coding going on there? We might. Of all the relationships that you can retroactively do something like, I mean, Bobby Drake, it's all you're full of bullshit. You're full of shit. I think you got a better chance of, of someone like Namor, the submariner. You know what I mean? If he spends too much time out of the water, he goes insane. If he spends too much time underwater, he goes insane. He needs that balance. And every time he's above water, he's got the hot Sue storm. And every time he's underwater, well, just under the sea, darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore they work all day. Under the sun they slave away. Darling, it's better where it's wetter. Under the sea. Dun 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 dun. The bass played the bass, the harp played the harp. Listen to the blowfish blow. Ain't that cool? But I mean, and brought to us by the same, people. Chris Claremont, who edited this? Jim Shooter's editor-in-chief, but David Anthony Kraft is the co-editor. So we can't even say like, Annie DeCenti or Louise Simonson, Louise Jones, who was at that time, this very time, editing Star Wars and Uncanny X-Men. It's true. But this is a really strong issue too, because I mean, firstly, it's like you have like it starts boom, in medias res. This is an annual. It's supposed to be like, betrayed by friends. No, by friends betrayed. I mean, what's that about? So like it starts off thinking like, hey, this is like the betrayal, but the betrayal is at the end, and this like slow realization that they have. Jessica Drew on the Golden Gate Bridge finds some poor woman gets thrown into the water, and she saves her and she brings her to the hospital, and she's like, this is Lieutenant Commander Carol Danvers of the United States Air Force, aka Ms. Marvel, the superhero. You know what I mean? She's catatonic, she's amnesiac. You know what I mean? What can we do for her? And look at these ads. I love these ads. How about Bubble Yum? They had so many flavors. Is that the chocolate flavor? No, that's supposed to be red, because Bubble Yum regular was this red, color red, not that kind of brick red or brown. No, sir. But they're like, but she's like, you know what? I know someone that can get through to her. Maybe Professor X will. Carol's, can get to the Carol that's inside there. And look, it's beautiful. Iconic X-Men. Danger Room. Just training. And just, yeah, right there, Dwayne. Next page. Because you have the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants show up and start wrecking stuff. And here's Rogue, who has, so this might be her first appearance, but she still has her accent, her iconic color combination, The white streaks in her hair, which is iconic as well. The gloves, because this is with this, her power set was established very early, that she absorbs powers and memories. And so she absorbed so much from Carol Danvers that Carol Danvers almost dies. But Rogue at that time was part of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants with Mystique and Destiny, their adopted daughter, with Pyro and Blob. You know, that crew. With no Magneto to lead them. They have Mystique, which is, and so it's interesting. This is a really good book, and it's out this week. It's $6.99. There's a foil variant cover too. I wanted to try to get the foil variant as well. But what is the betrayal by the friend? I mean, it's like we come all this way. Like it's this action-packed book. It is so good. And so the Avengers are all standing around the X-Men's pool, and they're all being like, well, it's so good that we got to help Carol out. And she has a breakdown because she remembers everything now. She was like, are you kidding me? You let me go with that monster who took away my consent. You like basically put me in a situation where I was someone's, plaything against my will. And you thought you presumed you did a good thing? No, you made me someone's, captive. And at the end of it, just like she was gonna forgive you everything. Aw. But still, because it's a comic book. I mean, it's pithy. It's supposed to be very like, of the moment, direct and stuff. But oh boy, prizes for cash. I love model cars. Model cars. Model F-14. That's an F-18 Hornet. I love models. Yeah. So that's what we got for new comic books this week. What's going on? What's going on here? Present, stop screen. Okay. Present, share screen. Share screen. Toby Wong, Toby Chu. That's from Reservoir Dogs. So this is live on Kickstarter. It's been live for less than about 1 week now. It's got 23 days left to go. It's been, so it's got 4,439 backers. This is Skybound Image Comics republishing the entire Marvel Comics run from 1982 until about 1995 or so. It's going to be in 4 hardcovers with 9 collectible trading cards too. And it's going to compile issues 1 through 155 of G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, issues numbers 1 through 4 of G.I. Joe and the Transformers, issues 1 through 4 of Order of Battle, and then special missions 1 through 28, which were kind of like special missions were like exactly what the name implies, focuses on lesser known team members, and the stakes were actually pretty high too. I love this. Yes, I wasn't told you exactly. $300 plus shipping is a lot. You are correct, sir. And this was a gift to myself, and I did this because I'm like, I thought there was just going to be the first compendium that I was going to get that chronicles issues 1 through 50. And I would prefer to get these in floppy. Okay. It's just going to be impossible to get 21, a reader copy of 21 for anything less than $75, which would be, that's exactly how much that book cost. So I considered it like 1-for-1 in a way. I got the Cobra box. Now they have this in 2 editions. One is the G.I. Joe box in blue, and the other one is the Cobra box in red. And these are the Cobra cards. I also bought the Storm Shadow. I bought the Storm Shadow card as an add-on, and I also got the G.I. Joe cards as an add-on. And I also got a Prism die-cut Cobra sticker too. It's funny because I'm not a bad guy. I don't believe in Cobra or what they stand for. But gosh, they're really entertaining. I think that Cobra Commander is a really great bad guy. I think Destro's a really good bad guy. I love the Baroness. Now, don't get me wrong. Look at all the spines on these. You have Snake Eyes, Scarlet, Stalker, and Duke. Had every single one of these action figures. I love this. In 82, when this was coming out, I was 9 years old, going on 10. Me and my best friends, we had like all the G.I. Joes, especially that first run. We had Joes that did not have swivel arms. But the spines of the Cobra, you're going to have Cobra Commander, you're going to have Serpentor, Baroness, and Destro. And or is that Storm Shadow? No, that's Storm Shadow. So I love Baroness. I have like a huge crush on Baroness. You know this. This is my Katabukiya Bushojo, and this is in her special ops outfit, which I love this because I had 2 other options for this same cast. I had her traditional black outfit with the red Cobra, and her traditional rifle that came with it too. Also a Crimson Guard version of this, which I thought was really good. So this is an anime-inspired Baroness. I love Baroness. My perfect romantic partner would want to cosplay with me. See, I would shave my head and my face, and I would use like Kiss, the band Kiss, like Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. I would put on makeup. I would get silver makeup. I would get the green and the black and the complete cartoon looking definition. Open shirt. The rest of it's cosplay. I would love to be Destro for cosplay. But yeah, I paid $300. Not only did I pay $300 for this, I bucked up for a sticker, an extra set of cards to cover the Joes, and the Storm Shadow card, which did not come with it. The Storm Shadow card only comes for those who have bought previous Skybound stuff. So that was an incentive thing, but it was just like I could not get it. Plus, it has it's got a split allegiance on the card itself, Storm Shadow card. It's really cool looking. See it right here. You see what I see? Here, I'll blow it up a little. Mutt, Chuckles, Destro. Yeah, this is what I got. Yeah, Cobra Commander. I got the Cobra Commander set. It also has digital PDFs. That's pretty cool. All the Cobra stretch goals. So this thing is going to be live for 23 more days. Let's look at. Oh wow, the other ones are only a little bit. We get Cobra enamel pen added to all physical play. Wow, cool. Gilded edges to all the compendiums. Cobra team physique, and so you're gonna get. Oh wow, I'm gonna get a 4-inch patch. All this Cobra gear, but see, it's I'm not a bad guy, but I like, give me the. I like Baroness. Mm-hmm. Oh wow, this is cool. Oh, the die cut sticker was added to all already. So I bought an extra one. Okay. That's cool. Because it's just, I love, see right here, see, I like the Cobra designs. That Joe design, it's like, it's like, it's always existed, but not as prevalent as like the Cobra one, which I think is more iconic, so that's going to be cool. Yeah. So I just backed this. Its estimated delivery is December of 2024. And ain't that cool? I mean, yeah, that's what I'm in for. But also it's not a it's not like a crowd backer. This is good for them because they're pre-ordering. So, okay, we'll make this much and then we'll make what we're, yeah, probably. That would be cool though. I'm wondering, like, also then now there's, issues number 156 to 300 to worry about at IDW. Is that, like, that's its own compendium, isn't it? And when does that fall under, shouldn't have that fallen back to Skybound as well? The Real American Hero thing? Or is, I don't know. And, but yeah, it's fun. This is fun. I'm looking forward to reading this because I'm just, like I said, like I was a kid. I had a mail-in subscription to this. And I started getting G.I. Joe, I believe, at issue 15 up until about issue like 30 or so. No. That's only 1 year. No, just under 36 or so. I would know it if I saw it. I would love to get a run of them, like all the floppies. But like I said, issue 21, which I got in the mail around the time of going to see Return of the Jedi. I just remember them having both. Where like me and Brian, my auntie Debbie took us to see Return of the Jedi, and we were at Brigham's, the ice cream parlor. You know what I mean? After the movie, and I remember having my copy of G.I. Joe, like, that it was still in its brown paper mailer, and then the inside was this dialogueless Snake Eyes busting Scarlet out, and the introduction of the first appearance of Storm Shadow, and the revelation of the identical tattoo, and of therefore setting up this. This is issue 21, not even 2 years into the story, and it starts off kind of like this new stuff. Before that you had Dr. Venom and Snake Eyes and Quinn the Eskimo, and this almost 2 year setup to what's going on. And it really catches fire, like about issue 24 and 25, like the secret origin of Snake Eyes, and going from there, and it gets really toyetic because then it has to keep showing this year's model of toys, and really interesting. I love it. But thank you so much for letting me talk to you about comic books for a little bit on a Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. I'm going to wrap this up because I got to go to the bathroom wicked bad. But you have a great weekend, and we will see you on Wednesday with the new release day with the previews. All right. Bye-bye.